Hey, it's Aaron from GameEnthus.com, and today I'm taking a look at the Uno dice game, Roll, Match, and Win. Rolling right. That's not all the name. I think the name is just Uno dice game. I think this was just to get you excited. You can see the exclamation point. And this was to be more specific on what it was. So it's really just Uno dice game, of which I believe there is an older version of the Uno dice game. Not really the point. So anyway, this is the Uno dice game. It's rolling right. It takes about 15 minutes to play. Ages 7 and up, 2 to 4 players. It seems as though there's really not a whole lot of reviews or anything online for it. So I felt like, well, I'll just take a crack at it and show people how to play it and tell you what my thoughts are. Inside the box, you have 4 different dry erase pads, and you have theoretically dry erase markers. They don't really erase because there's no erasers on them. So you got to use your old finger, and there will be some residue. So you've been warned. I wouldn't suggest putting your finger in your mouth or your nose, any other orifice after you've used it to wipe off one of the pads. And the same will go for anyone else's mouth, nose, ear, or any other orifice. You probably want to refrain from doing that. You could also take a napkin, a dry or a damp paper towel,
or feeling that, a cool wet sack,
and accomplish the same goal without spending too much time describing that. So you get 4 of those, and then you have the dice themselves. So this would be a 3-player game. The object of the game is to fill in all of the spaces, these 16 areas, and then you see the dotted outline ones, which I'll explain that in a second. But the object is to fill in all the boxes, populate everything. If you're the first person to do it, you win, thus angering everyone else around you. But whatever, you're okay with that anyway. So you have different types of dice over here. So you have a plus, you have a minus. How these work: if you roll a -1 on your turn, you get to pick an opponent, and they have to erase the last number they roll, except for the first one. I'll explain that in a second too. The +1 means you get to pick a random opponent, and they have to connect the dotted lines in a box, meaning they have an additional box to populate in order to win, making them a little bit further from their goal. How the stars work: they're like wilds, but you have to have 2. So if you have 1, you can't do anything. If you have 2, you can actually just write a star in, and then you say out loud what number and color it's supposed to represent. So a pair becomes wild, a 1 star is nothing. So our game will begin is everybody would take a die and they would roll it. So for red, okay, they're going to get a 3. Yellow's also going to get a 3. Green's going to get a 5. Everyone will begin with a number in the upper left corner, and that number cannot be erased even with this power up. That number is going to stay there for perpetuity. For the rest of the game, that number will be present. So let's say the red player is the first player. They would roll. They would roll all the dice. As you can see, got 3, 6, 6, 2, 6, and 1. The strategy of the game is kind of like this. You want to arrange things such that you can write the longest chain. So because I already have a 3 here, I'm going to use this 3. And I don't have any other 3s, but I do have other greens. I have a 2 and a 6 that are green. So that becomes a chain. A chain because I have a 3 and a 3. So to start your chain off, you kind of have to have either a wild or the same number. So I have a 3 and I have a 6, a 2 and a 6. So this becomes a chain because they're green. Yeah. But also, I can connect this 6. This is a really good roll, actually. I can connect this 6 because it's a 6, this 6 because it's a 6, and then I can actually take the 1 as well because it's yellow. So this is a chain based on same number or same color, if that makes sense. So 3, 3, green, green, 6, 6, 6, and then a 1. So I'll take my pad and write all those numbers in. Now at this point, I have to announce the last number and color in my chain. So I would announce a yellow 1. And what that means is any other player who has a 1 as their last number gets to write down an additional 1. Or the player who has the color that I announced gets to write that down. So the yellow player would get to write down a 1, because it was a yellow 1. Now granted, yes, they have a 3 there, but because I said yellow and they have the yellow pad, they would get to write down a 1. Let's say it was a red 1 that finished this off. I couldn't write it down because I'm the active player. So it only works for other players to write down. And that will be player 1's turn. Player 2 would roll. Okay, we have a 1, 6, 6. Wow, these 6s just keep coming, don't they? So the order matters because the order in which you place them, however your chain ends, not the last number, because number you can't use kind of just is there, but nothing happens to it. You have to announce the die of the last one in your chain. And you want to be strategic about that because you don't want to help your opponents, or maybe you do. Maybe you want to, help someone catch up. So you would say something that they could use. Depends. So if it ended in let's say it ended in a blue, which it very well could, I would help no one, right? Because I can connect all these because yellow has a 1, that's red. Those are both 6s. These are all green. So these connect. And then this 6 over here would help literally no one. I would say a blue 6. Well, it wouldn't automatically help someone. If someone had a 6, like if green had a 6, they could still write that 6 down, but they have a 5. But since the blue player isn't playing, it's safer to put that here because it helps no one. Also, this isn't really part of the chain. So, which I guess wouldn't make any difference to Connor what I just said. Forget what I just said because this is not really used in my chain. Actually, well, I don't want to do this. If I end on a 3, it's green, which means the green player gets to write down 3. So sometimes you kind of have to help people because it wouldn't make any sense to not use that 6 because, oh no, it wouldn't be used, would it? Actually, I would use it here. There we go. So it could all fit in here for yellow. So the chain is a 1 because there's a 1. And then the 3 6s because, well, they're all 6s regardless of color. And then these are green. So they all would chain together. So these are really good. Wish I played this well. Playing with my kids. Beating the crap out of me. Like, the one time I do well. Come on now. That is the chain for the yellow player. I hope I've explained it correctly. And I would announce, hey, a green 3. And the player with the green pad could write down a 3. You pick everything up. Oh, nice. I get to show some of the abilities here. So I ended in 3, and we have some 6s here. These, I don't know what the deal is with that. So I got the -1, and because I have a 3 here, none of these are 3, so I'm going to use these 2 as a wild. One thing I did forget to mention: you can always re-roll any unused dice once. So if you roll everything, you don't like anything, these are all unused, you could re-roll everything. This ends in a 3. So I'm going to make this, I'm going to use this star. I have 1 wild because I have a pair of stars. So I'm going to make that into a yellow 3. So this will be a yellow 3. And I'm sure I'll be critiqued if I ever get any comments on the videos about how I drew my star, but it's not great, but you can kind of tell. I'm saying it's a star, so you know it's a star. So because that's a yellow 3, then the yellow 6 is a chain because they're both yellow, and the other 6s are a chain because they're 6s, and there we have it. Now the -1, I get to pick one of my opponents, and they have to erase one of their boxes. I'm probably going to pick yellow because they're the furthest along. Let's say the +1 came up. I would probably, let's put this back. Let's say the +1 came up. I would probably still get yellow, and then they would have to come in and just fill in the dotted line for the box, which means now they have 17 boxes to populate. And that's how Uno Dice plays. Okay, my final thoughts. I wasn't quite sure what to expect when we played this game, but ultimately we found it to be pretty fun. I rather enjoyed it. I am a fan of roll and write. I'm a fan of the genre. So of course I play things that are much deeper, much more compelling, but that's not this, but that's okay. I found this to be fun. I found it enjoyable. I would certainly play it again. We thought it was fun. Things I wasn't really a fan of. It is compact. I appreciate that, but I felt like there could have been a little more space for the dice in the box. It was kind of like, not a big deal, but that would have been nice. And then maybe erasers would have been nice too. I'm a little concerned about the wear and tear on these dice. I kind of feel like these numbers and things might fade away after a little while. They haven't yet. They just kind of look like they might. Fun is fun. It is rolling right. It's not the deepest. Doesn't have to be. It's still enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you've not already. You should see some things on screen that you can click on and watch more videos, which I'd also appreciate. Stay safe out there. Wear a mask. Take care. Be blessed.